Ready to create GPT-4u? What if I told you you could create your own custom AI models for free? That's right, OpenAI is giving away 2 million tokens per day to fine-tune your own GPT-4o mini. In this video, we're diving into fine-tuning, sharing expert insights, and showing you how to supercharge your AI projects without spending a dime. We're also going to share a Google Collaborator notebook to fine-tune your models with token tracking. So with this notebook, it's easier for you to create your data set to fine-tune your LM models, track the token usage, monitor fine-tuning job, and then also use the new fine-tuned model. Okay, so it's perfect for anyone who wants to dive right into fine-tuning, and the Google Collaborator notebook is going to be in the free community. The link will be in the description. Okay, so before we jump in, make sure you join the community. We have free AI agent workshops every Sunday. Make sure you sign up for one of these workshops. You will also be able to network with like-minded individuals, come out with insights, and limited seats available. All right, so let's go. So welcome to our comprehensive guide on fine-tuning GPT-4o mini. I'm excited to share with you not just how to, but also when, why, and some best practices straight from AI experts. We'll cover everything from basic concepts to advanced techniques, and I'll be sharing insights from our recent workshop with AI specialist Chad. Now, before we dive in, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And understand by doing so, you're supporting the channel and helping us grow so we can deliver quality AI education to everyone. Okay, in simple terms, fine-tuning is the process of further training a pre-trained language model on a specific data set to customize it for particular tasks or styles. So you have the base model, the GPT-4o or GPT-4o mini, but you want to customize this for your style. This is perfect for people like me or anyone making content who'd like to customize the LM models so that it speaks in your tone, in your style. A lot of people actually think fine-tuning and RAG is the same thing, but there is some subtle differences. And during our last workshop, AI expert Chad explained it.
Like, when I look at the situation, fine-tuning is taking a model and baking into the neural network additional context of your stuff, whereas RAG is setting up a vector database in which you perform algorithmic analysis against, and usually what it is there's like a semantic algorithm that can be performed. So right, you might ask a question, it sends it to the vector database. It will then try and make as many ties to all of the data you store in the database, which might be your internal company's documentation. And then from there, usually you'll have your next step in the process, which generally is it takes maybe the top 3 or the best sources, and then from there distills out and finds the most relevant answer, and then the LLM model responds with that. The vector store isn't the best method if you're trying to get it to sound like you, is because that's for retrieving knowledge that it wouldn't have. Because like even when you use GPT natively in the application, when it goes and it does a web search, that's RAG. That's happening in the background. So like RAG is really about retrieving specific content to answer a specific question. Whereas like when we're talking about abstract topics like tonality or style, RAG can't necessarily do that because you say, just because you tell it, oh, write a blog in this style, and you go have it search and it looks up content that's like that, doesn't mean that the output's going to do that, because you didn't change the neural network. You didn't adjust the weights of the model.
As you can see, fine-tuning allows us to take powerful general purpose model like GPT-4o mini and tailor it to specific needs. This can lead to improved performance, more consistent outputs, and even cost saving in some cases. And don't worry, we're going to dive into the pricing aspect so you can understand how much you're going to spend if you were to train your own models and use it using the OpenAI models. Now, like I promised, we're also going to show you how to fine-tune your own models and take advantage of the 2 million per day free fine-tuning token that's provided by OpenAI. Okay, we're going to cover that, don't worry. Now, again, fine-tuning requires careful investment and specialized skills. So make sure you have exhausted all your efforts before actually going into fine-tuning. And we're going to explain why fine-tuning is necessary for some cases and when to actually use it. So most cases, prompt engineering is enough. I would recommend you start using advanced prompt engineering techniques, or use the prompt engineering guide provided by OpenAI. Make sure your base model is optimized. Okay, limitations with the prompting. For example, like if you want to like write content in your own style, it's still not going to be your style. You can make it, maybe it's like a pseudo your style, like add some prompts. Hey, be sarcastic, do this, but still, the real sauce is when you have your own, you're training with your own data. The model understands you and not just the general intelligence. And
Like you were saying, I always start with, like, no matter the problem or the solution we're trying to come with, prompt engineering first. How far can we get with just prompt engineering a base LLM? And then after that, it's like, okay, you must decide, do I need to go to the RAG side? Does this solution need augmented understanding of a knowledge base? Or does this solution really need a model that really represents us more? And sometimes it's a mix of all three. But I find that if you start with prompt engineering and then figure out what use case needs to stem the other directions, that's like the best way about implementing LLMs in custom coding solutions.
always start with prompt engineering. It's the quickest and easiest way to improve outputs. Now, if you incorporate large amounts of external knowledge, consider using RAG. Use fine-tuning when you want to deeply ingrain specific behaviors, style, or capabilities into the model. And remember, these techniques are not mutually exclusive. You can often get the best results by combining them strategically, whether it's prompt engineering, fine-tuning, or RAG. Now, you might be wondering, Imtiaz, this sounds great on paper, but I want to know some practical examples or tips. Who can use it? How can they use it? Now, during our workshop, we discussed several scenarios where fine-tuning shines.
Honest, I'm mostly working on RAG implementations because a lot of the use cases that either customers or our team need are RAG focused. But for fine tuning, content writing is where fine tuning does best, because the models are just so generic in responses. So that's where fine tuning a model to write more in your style. If you have tons of data, like let's say there's something that, like, if you have a specific coding style, for example, that you had, and you have tons of data and you always want it to code in this style, and you just can't get the model to do it with prompt engineering, and you can't get it by uploading a PDF, boom, you found the first perfect use case for you to then do fine tuning at that point.
So as you can see, content creation is a great example where to use fine tuning, especially also when you have specialized knowledge. If you're working in a niche field, fine tuning can help the model understand your specialized terminology more accurately. You could be using some of the base models like GPT-4o mini, which is more lightweight, okay, and very cost friendly, and you can fine tune with your own knowledge. Okay, let's say you are a coach and you use certain terminology, and even me, I use certain terminology that I would like the LM model to know and use it pretty often. I can take advantage of a lightweight model like GPT-4o mini and make it even powerful with my own knowledge base. OpenAI also provides a few other examples to use fine-tuning. Not only will your style and tone be consistent, you can use it for tool calling, or basically for structured output. As you know, OpenAI allows you to provide the output from the LM models as JSON files, and you could specify with examples what these output would look like. And the more examples you provide, the LM model will understand exactly what kind of output you're looking for, and thus your custom model would be more personalized to your application or for your specific use case. As you can see, the possibilities are endless. The key is identifying whether your current prompting or RAG strategies fall short and using fine-tuning to bridge the gap. Now that you understand fine-tuning, let's discuss some best practices to ensure success. And then we're going to dive into the actual code so that you can start fine-tuning yourself with OpenAI models.
First, you only really need even 10, 15. You can start to see if it's working. And then if it's working from there, maybe do a subset of like 50, 100. And then it's really the key with fine-tuning, because these models are so good at understanding them. The key is quality data, because it's garbage in, garbage out.
So here's a few tips for success. Chad emphasized that you don't need a massive data set to start. Begin with 10 high quality examples and iterate from there. So OpenAI provides you an example format to use to fine tune your LM models. 3 is actually not enough. You need at least 10. So when you're preparing the data set, make sure you have 10 instances that has actual examples of how you'd like the assistant to respond. So the format is pretty simple. You have a system prompt, which in this case, you are a factual chatbot that is also sarcastic. Okay, the prompt is going to be the same for all these instances, but you'll have a different question to ask the assistant. Okay, what's the capital of France? Who wrote Romeo and Juliet? All that kind of stuff. And then you're also going to provide the assistant's response. Paris, as if everyone doesn't know that already. So something like this, it's sarcastic, it's a specific style and tone. This could be your tone, and this could be your version of GPT-4o, which is GPT-4o you. Think about how you talk. Think about the sauce that is you. Okay, so you have 10 instances and maybe 3 or 4 instances. You keep it separate for testing purposes. Okay, so you'll keep a test set, maybe 3 or 4 instances where you can check later to see if the model is responding in the way that you want. Okay, this will give you an idea how good the custom model is. So again, make sure there's a lot of variety in the data. It's clean, consistent, representative of your desired outputs. Now, fine-tuning is often an iterative process. Don't be afraid to refine your dataset and try again if the results aren't what you expect, okay? And we're going to make another video which is more advanced so you can understand training and validation loss to catch issues like overfitting, etc. Don't worry about that now. Just get your first wins in fine-tuning, see if it passes the eyeball test. If it doesn't, we can dive into more advanced techniques. So definitely take the time to do this right. The format of the file is going to be a JSON file. Now let's look at the pricing. If you were to use the GPT-4o mini, the base model, the pricing would be 0.150 for 1 million input tokens. Okay? And if you were to use a fine-tuned version of the GPT-4o mini, then the price would be approximately double, but it's still very cheap than the GPT-4o models. And you're going to spend 0.3 cents per 1 million tokens. And the total price is going to be a combination of the training output and the input tokens. Okay. Now you will be able to train 2 million tokens per day for free currently, and then use one of these models. Now, so if you already have a use case in mind for yourself, start doing this now. It is available till September 23. Okay, don't worry, I prepared a Google Collaborative notebook to help you get started creating your fine-tuned LMs. You could use something like Claude as well to help you understand the code and also prepare your data set or clean and add new instances if necessary. And this code is going to be available to you for free. The link will be in the description somewhere. So when you get into the community, you're going to look at the YouTube resource, and this is going to be linked there. And while you're doing so, make sure to check out our course. We have a very special offer currently. So once you dive into the course, you're going to learn how to build, deploy, and sell your AI agents. Okay, so you can build your custom GPT with no code, build your OpenAI Assistant API, low code, and you can also build your AI Assistant app or micro SaaS product. I will give you some tips on rapid agent prototyping and a few tips on how to deploy it in your own servers as well. Okay, and don't worry, no coding experience is needed. This is a great way for you to start with no code and low code tools. Unleash the full potential of your AI agent. All right, so let's dive into this code. We're going to install the OpenAI library, and we're going to also install the tick token library, which is going to calculate the input as well as the output token. So plug in your API keys under secret and run this portion of the code. Once you've done that, I also created a function for you that will calculate the input and output tokens for your request. Then you're going to prepare your data set. This data set will be saved in your local computer, and then you can calculate the total tokens for that data set. Okay, in this case, this was a very small data set. This is only 3 rows, but make sure you have 10 rows of data in your data set. That should still be less than 1,000 tokens. You're going to upload the training file into OpenAI servers, and the purpose is going to be fine-tuning. Once you've uploaded the file, you're going to create a fine-tuning job. You're going to specify the model that you're going to use, and then you're also going to get a job ID for that model. Now, using that job ID, you can now monitor the fine-tuning job. If you don't want to deal with code and just want to use no-code tools, you can prepare the data set on your own and upload it in the dashboard and check the progress. We can monitor the fine-tuning job by running this command right here, and it's going to give us the status of that job. Once it is complete and successful, we are going to run step number 6, which is using our fine-tuned model. We can specify the model here as job status.fine-tune model. This is the model that has been trained with our data. And then we can see how the response is coming back. You can, okay, so now it's fine-tuning. Okay, yeah, no, this is good. For anyone watching this and wants to learn fine-tuning stuff, yeah, feel free to use fine-tuning on open source models, OpenAI models, whatever you're comfortable with. Try different, the success depends on how the assistant is responding back. If that's responding and you like it, OpenAI, you like it, like what they're doing, because they have a hardware on the back, they're doing the fine-tuning job. If you like the response, store the model somehow and use it for use cases. But also you have to make sure that not give too much security information to OpenAI, because you have to store it in their servers. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so just the age-old question that so we asked, you are sarcastic chatbot, what's the meaning of life? Then this is the import tokens, we count the tokens, and then we use the model, the fine-tuned model. Okay, this is the model that we fine-tune. And we ask the meaning of life and stuff like that. This is giving us a sarcastic response.
Yeah.
And so this is great. So it works, right? So we can say something else like, should I fine-tune with OpenAI or OLAP? Oh, absolutely, because choosing which integrator is totally simple, straightforward decision. It's not like your choice would depend on factors like your specific use case, budget, or technical expertise. Yeah, do this a couple of times, redo the data, upload a new data set, and then use a new fine-tuned model until you get the desired output that you want. And this model, you can use it as long as you want. You're going to be charged for the usage, but now you have a custom GPT-4o mini model that basically talks like you and walks like you. The goal isn't just to have a different model, but a better one for your specific use case. So always combine fine-tuning with other techniques. Fine-tuning is powerful on its own. It can be even more effective when combined with other techniques. For example, you might use a fine-tuned model as part of a larger system that incorporates RAG for up-to-date information.
Here's where RAG and fine-tuning come together. So, right, let's say you fine-tune the model. Now it's sounding like you, but then you wanted to use scholarly database sources. Maybe you collect a bunch of scholarly database sources, use RAG to put them in a vector database store, and then when you go to write content, you make your engineering flow for the code start by performing the fine-tuning, maybe getting a base response, then taking that response potentially on the back end, passing it to the RAG to do an analysis, then from there pass that analysis plus the initial fine-tuned response to then.
If you want to watch the entire workshop, that's also available in the community with a few resources provided by community members. So you can also use the best RAG techniques, fine-tuning techniques, understand when to use it, and also some common questions faced by beginners. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what fine-tuning is and when to use it, the best practices, evaluation strategies. Fine-tuning GPT-4o Mini opens up a world of possibilities for creating customized high-performance AI models tailored to your specific needs. Remember, the Google Collaboratory Notebook is going to be available for you absolutely free, so you can get started, practice. If you don't know Python, don't worry. You can just run each block at a time. So you can also learn a little bit of Python. It will help you streamline your process. Remember, the learning doesn't stop here. If you're really serious about creating AI agents and fine-tuning your models, learn from experts like Chad, I invite you to join our AI Agent Accelerator program. In the program, we have group coaching calls as well as troubleshooting, and also you get exclusive access to our workshops. So definitely learn more and join the community of AI enthusiasts. You're going to find a video right here that talks more about structured output. This is going to be great if you want to fine-tune your LM models with a much more refined version of structured output. Watch this video right here so you understand the difference between ML 1.0 and ML 2.0, so you can drop the silly chatbots and unleash the full potential of your AI agents. GPT pioneers, let's go.